Good morning. It's Monday. This is the Renovating the Ranch vlog, week 5. So I'm not going to be digging today. I have a ton of stuff to do back at the home farm. I need to fertilize with using the backpack sprayer and fish emulsion all of the cut flowers in the cut flower garden. And I also need to clean out the front walk beds, and so that's all going to take most of the day. Plus, I still want to reach out to. I'm gonna text them today. Reach out to my rent mates here at the farm, at the ranch, and see if they can use their bobcat to help me move all this soil. But I did come out because I want to drop off a couple things. A big bag of straw, because that's going to be the pathways in my beds, and I brought also a box of irrigation equipment, and then 2 flats of seedlings, and I'm hoping I didn't make a mistake by doing that. So I've got calendula and marigolds, and I'm just going to keep them here in the greenhouse because they're going to go out. There's going to be some of the first things I plant. I'm not worried about the cold. These are hardy annuals. They'll be totally fine overnight, but it's real hot in that greenhouse. And even though there's lots of broken glass, so there's lots of air moving through there, it's still hot. And today it's only going to be 68 degrees and it's way hotter than that inside the greenhouse. So I'm going to water them really well and see how they're doing tomorrow when I come back out to dig. And hopefully they won't be suffering. So I got to figure out, this is a glass greenhouse. It's way hotter than mine at home because mine at home is actually in the shade for a reason. So we'll have to see. This is my first time using a greenhouse like this. And it's going to be an experiment. Yeah. So I'm going to unload this stuff and then I'm going to head back to my house because I've got, like I said, a lot of stuff to do over there. But tomorrow I'll be out here digging, also installing the hose link, and maybe even starting on the greenhouse bench that needs to get made. I just need to bring the saw out and the electrical cord and all that kind of stuff because the electricity in the greenhouse doesn't work yet. So I'll just have to set up down at the spice house. No big deal, but I've been dragging my feet on that. So because the other thing I'm going to do this morning is measure. So I know how much compost I need for the bed over there. That is that bed back there that's under occultation. I know how much compost I need for that. But now I need to measure, what is this going to be after I flatten it out? And so I can get a general idea of the size, and then I'm going to go on and place my compost order because I do need to start laying down the cardboard and getting those beds built in that one bed next to the greenhouse, because these seedlings that I'm bringing in today do need to go in the ground soon. And it is now early March. Well, it will be tomorrow, March 1st. So that's the plan. And of course, I once again forgot my tripod. It's always something. So I'm going to set the camera up and I don't know, it'll work or it won't. But that's my plan for the day. Look at this little guy. He's so cute. I'm pretty sure that's a western, whoop, sorry buddy, I'm not trying to scare you. I'm pretty sure that's a western fence lizard. So cute. So this is the tray of calendula. I've got Ivory Princess and Cantaloupe. And this is the tray of marigolds. So I've got Lemon Drop, which is a container variety, but it also can go in the ground and it'll just be cute little border plant. And then the other one is Cracker Jack, and this one gets huge. It's good for cuts. So now I just need to water this stuff in. These guys got a big dose of fish emulsion fertilizer a couple days ago. Fish emulsion, although stinky, is an awesome gentle fertilizer for plants and is water soluble, so you just mix it up in your watering can or in your backpack sprayer, like I do, and apply it. So how do you apply fish emulsion? Honestly, I can't remember the dilution rate, but it'll say on the bottle. But I use it as a foliar spray. You can also use it as a soil drench, meaning just watering kind of like this, drenching the soil. But I like using it as a foliar spray because it goes on nice and light, and the plants seem to totally dig it. Soon, maybe tomorrow, I don't know, it just depends on timing, I'm going to be making water-soluble calcium that can go into a sprayer and be used as a foliar feed, which is how I'm going to, actually I'm going to be using it as a soil drench, but you can also use it as a foliar feed. Calcium is taken up by plants through the ground, through the soil. Some minerals come in through the leaves and some come in through the ground, through the soil up the stems, and calcium is one of those. And so you can apply it to the leaves, it'll get some in there, but it's best to apply the calcium to the soil around the plants. Then it goes into the roots and comes up into the plant. So I will talk a whole bunch more about that, why calcium is important, what it does for your plants, and what deficiencies look like when I do that video. So I promise you that's coming because it's really interesting stuff. 1 bale of straw. I'll need more, but this 1 bale goes pretty far. It says 99% weed free. For the most part, I definitely have had a lot of grass popping up in my pathways at home, but it's okay, it's still worth it. Finally, box of irrigation supplies. When I install the drip system, I'll totally walk you through the whole thing. Anybody can do this. It doesn't mean you don't need to be a professional or have any kind of special skills. I'll tell you where I get my stuff. You can do it through them, or you can get a lot of this stuff from your local hardware store or garden center. But installing an irrigation system is a great idea. It saves water. It gets water directly to the roots of the plants. And you can also, if you have a special system to go with it, you can also fertilize that way too, which is really cool. I personally don't do that. I'd rather apply soil drench or leaf foliar spray with my backpack sprayer, but it is a possibility. I'm going to open these side windows on both the doors, the screen doors, and hope that gets a little bit more cross breeze, because these guys will be okay, but they're probably going to be wilting when I get here tomorrow, even though they've just been watered. Maybe, there we go. Ah, yes. Wow, that's amazing. I can feel cool air coming in through this. Okay. Now, time to go measure. Taking a total chance that the phone will actually stay here. I'm literally propping it up on the bike rack on the roof of my car. So I'm gonna grab the tape measure and my notebook and start measuring. Okay, so measurements taken. That bed, once it's flattened and cleared, I mean, it's this now, but it'll give me more growing space flattened and cleared. It will be 20 feet wide by 45 feet long. I could have gone a little bit longer, but then it was gonna start cutting into like the curve that goes out to the road, and that gets weird. So that's going to give me 5 beds that are 3 feet wide with 8 with 18-inch walkways. So the bed closest to the driveway will be right up against that. There's like a little wall there, the first part. So right up against there, and then so I don't really have to create a walkway there. And then there will be 4 18-inch walkways, and then the final walkway will actually be on the pathway that goes to beside the greenhouse. So I think that's great. So now I just need to calculate the compost needs, and then I'm going to place the order for the compost. So I'm going to place the order for the compost because I really need to get that laid down. Also, this compost, this company is called Be Green. They're in Oakland. They are amazing. This compost smells so good when it comes. Smells still a little bit like stables, which I love that smell. But it's pretty hot when it arrives. It's still, I mean, it's done. You can plant into it, but it's pretty hot. So what I would like to do is I would like to spread it out, get it spread. Once you spread it out and you wet it down, then it cools down really quickly. So I want to do that, wet it down, get the cardboard wetted down, put the compost down, wet it down, and then like 2 days later, 2 or 3 days later, come back and plant into it and get that started, because those calendula, the marigolds, I've got all kinds of stuff back at the farm that needs to come out and get in the ground for the summer season. My stuff at the home farm is all spring annuals, and so those are going good, and we are starting to get blooms on the stalk. We're starting to get blooms. Well, we've been having blooms on calendula, but the stalk are starting to bloom, which is exciting. Tulips are coming up. The ranunculus look great. I don't see any flower buds yet, but you know, they'll be coming along. It is only March 1st. The seedlings that I've been starting in the greenhouse, those are for the ranch property, because I won't have room in my home farm for quite a while. The stuff that's out there for spring will be in there until the end of April, mid-May, maybe the end of May. So it just depends on how well they're producing. Yeah, so that's it. I'm taking off. I'm gonna go home and get started. I have lots and lots of garden cleanup and fertilizing and other stuff to do. So have a wonderful day. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. I don't have time to dig today. That's gonna be tomorrow. I'll be out here for many hours digging. But I did wanna come and check on the seedlings because it was warm yesterday, and I wanna make sure that they're not a solid, you know, mess, basically. We'll see what's going on in here. So those don't look so bad. I think they're gonna do fine. Let's see here. Yeah, still very, well, damp, but oh, that's definitely wet. I'm getting tempted to water them one more time since they're gonna be out here, but I'll be out tomorrow. I think they'll be totally fine. Okay, well, that's it for today. I have to go home because I have a special bouquet that was ordered for a baby announcement, so I need to make that bouquet. I also need to mock up a bouquet, table centerpieces, because a friend is having a big party for her 50th, and so we're gonna do a bunch of centerpieces for that. And I also need to apply fish emulsion to everything in the cut flower garden. So that is my plan for today. It's going to keep me pretty busy, but I'll be back out here tomorrow to do lots more digging. So I'm back at the ranch. I'm actually going to get a decent amount of work done today, at least I hope, but it won't be digging work. I'm going to meet with Miguel, who is one of my fellow renters here on the ranch. And we're going to talk about plans for the terraced area. But today I'm going to install the hose link, and because we are going to get 3 days of kind of intermittent showers on and off, there won't be a whole lot of accumulation, but I'm going to pull the landscape fabric off of the occultating bed, try to get a broad fork in there and broad fork it, although it's going to be pretty rocky. I don't know. I'll see what I can do. Anyway, then I'm going to cover it with cardboard, and then, you know, put the weights back on it because it'll get windy. But with 3 days of intermittent showers, that will wet the cardboard really well, and it will save me water. I won't have to use water to do that. So that is the plan for today. Yeah, so I'm going to get started. Okay, so because I was an idiot and didn't read the instructions first, I didn't realize I needed a ratchet to get those things all the way in, because the housing for the bracket, you know, the screws go in deep into the housing, so drill can't do it. So at least I've got the holes drilled. I actually am going to bring this all back home because it's not attached, it's not locked down, and these are not cheap, and somebody could easily walk away from it. We've already had theft out here. I haven't personally, but my neighbors have. So I'm gonna just stick this back in the car, and tomorrow I'll come out with ratchet for it, and spare O-rings, that's nice. I'll just come back out with a ratchet for it and attach those, and then I can slide the hose link onto the thing, and we're good. So instead, I'm going to load this up in the car, and then I'm going to start on the occultating bed project. So, disappointing results. You could see it worked in some places. This whole dirt area here, and you can see the gray stuff, that's mold mycelia that's forming under there. So it is starting to rot. Definitely worked better on the places where the wood was. So it just needed a lot more time than I have. But even though I had wanted to take this off and see all just brown, you know, dead stuff, it's still better than it was. So what I'm going to do now is put a very thick layer of cardboard, since I have so much, on top of all of this. That will completely smother it out. I have a feeling that the landscape cloth, even though it's, you know, it's black and you can't see my fingers through it, I think it's still let enough light in that it didn't do a permanent job, because you could see exactly where I had the wood. So I probably should have used a silage tarp, which is 100% blackout thick plastic, and it also gets way hotter under there. You know, it's winter time still, and technically the best thing I could have done is, if I had started renting this property back in like October, I would have tarped it and left it until now, so like months. Then it all would have been gone. But you know, for 4 weeks, it's a start. So it's okay. I'm still going to cover this whole area with probably double cardboard, and then I mean, even one layer will be enough to completely block out the light. And then hopefully the rain that's supposed to come over the next couple days will wet down the cardboard. First, actually, I'm going to try to broad fork this bed. I doubt that I'm going to be able to do a whole lot with that, because this soil is super rocky, but I am going to give it a go. I'll explain the broad fork real quick. Let me go grab it. So this is a broad fork. In the no-till world, this is what we use to disturb the soil just a little bit. Basically what you're doing is you're opening up channels in the soil to allow oxygen in. You're loosening the soil a little bit, but you're not turning the soil layers over. So the mycelium and the archaea and all the other biology in there stays intact. So this one, you can get different sizes. This one has 5 tines on it, but you can get different sizes. And really, the way you do it, and I'm going to try, I don't know how, this ground is pretty hard, but what you do is you step on it, wiggle it in. Yeah, it's hard to get this in. You should hopefully get all the way in. And then you just lean back and you lift. And so even though I'm not getting all the way in, I am getting a couple of inches. That's better than nothing. So you kind of treat it like a shovel, pogo stick kind of thing, and you're just lifting. Now, over time, this will get easier and easier on this ground because of the no-till practices I'm going to be doing here, regenerative farming practices I'm going to be doing. It'll get easier and easier to get this broad fork in, and then eventually I won't have to broad fork at all. So this first go round is just hard. Let's see what this soil over here is like. Yes, it's so rocky. Yeah, so this is the other reason why I'm bringing in compost. So I'm going to get at this. I'm not going to make a huge amount of progress. There might be some spots where it sinks in good and I can really lift up the soil a little bit, but it's a start. Every year, like I said, it'll get easier. And then I'm going to lay down the cardboard. So I found a good spot that's actually really soft, and you can see, not really soft, but sort of soft, softer than everything else. You can see how the tines are almost all the way to the ground. Then you just lean back, apply pressure, and you're lifting the soil to aerate it. Then you just go a little further, do the same thing. And keep going. So, broad forking done. That was very challenging, as I expected. It's mostly rock and gravel under there. I did hit maybe 2% of the area was easy to get the broad fork in. So I think this is going to be a challenging area to grow this year. I'm not worried about weeds because the cardboard will completely block everything out, but I'm hoping that my seedlings can reach native soil and actually succeed. It's going to be a struggle. I mean, clearly things grow here. And when these all decompose, they'll be feeding the soil. But yeah, it's going to be tough. But, you know, that's what happens when you break new ground and you're going no-till. You just have to be patient and, you know, keep building the soil, keep growing the soil. Okay, so it's cardboard time. You want to get rid of as much of the tape as you can, tape and labels and stuff. Just because there's a glue on these things that it can be a little bit inhibited. But once you do that, then all you're really going to do is lay it down, blocking everything out. You want to overlap everything. You want to make sure that no grass or soil is visible. So nice thick layer all the way through the entire bed. So let's get started. There it is. That is the base of the new flower bed. And I really thought I was going to run out of cardboard. It's just enough. The reason I built it from the south moving north is that the prevailing winds come out of the northwest. And so if the wind is going to kick up real high and pick up anything, these boards should hold it all down. So yeah, fingers crossed. Look what we have here. The lilies are starting to show. I saw a couple more in here when I watered, but of course I buried them, but that's okay. They are starting to come up, and that is super exciting. Super exciting. I've never grown lilies before, so I'm stoked about this. So that's gonna be it for me here today. It is a little after What time is it? It's almost 12:30. I'm hungry and I'm tired. And I feel like I got a job well done. I didn't get the hose link up, but that's just a tool issue, so I'll bring those back next time I come out. Maybe tomorrow, it just depends on the weather. But I'm pretty much done for now. Let's hope that we get some rain over the next 3 days, even if it's just intermittent. Really wet down this cardboard, and then next week the compost arrives and I'm going to start making these beds. So until then, I'll see you next time. Bye.